Hello, welcome to Luigi's Gaming Lounge. This is Luigi 8 Mario, and this is episode 6. Today, we have with us Out of Time Ecto 1, aka
Andy, hello.
We also have Trip Hazard, aka
Barnaby, hello.
And we also have Terrors, aka
Sam, hello.
Hello, everybody.
He sounds so sweet compared to the rest of us.
I know. Like butter wouldn't melt.
Exactly.
So, as we all know, I gave you lots of notice again this week on your question, of course. So, how did you find the question before I let everyone know what it was? Difficult?
Well, we didn't know. If you didn't know, let us know what it was.
Well,
We didn't know what the question was.
you, Sam. Let me tell you something. You need to check your WhatsApp more. So I'll ask Andy and Barnaby. How did you find it? Was it difficult?
Really thought-provoking. Yes, it was
Thought-provoking.
difficult. Yeah, really thought-provoking.
Right.
And my mind instantly went to all the crossovers. It's like obviously like Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And there's been
yeah.
some bad ones and some good ones over time. But yeah, once you give it some thought, it's like, oh, that would be cool. And you start like conjuring up these ideas in your head.
Yeah.
So I went from struggling to having far too many ideas.
Yeah. Right, I get you. Well, so Andy, do you want to start us off then with your
It's
idea?
always the pressure.
Well, I've got to let everybody know first. I haven't even said what the question is. So I asked these guys here, if you could mix two games to create your own, what would they be? So take it away, Andy.
Right, hear me out. I may not.
We know it's going to be good.
May not have picked exactly the right titles, but there's so many different titles with the same sort of engines and mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm thinking something with the sheer depth of like Skyrim,
Right.
or Scrim, however you say it. So
Scrim?
Yes, Sky. Some people say Scrim, some people say
What
Skyrim.
some people
But-
do.
Yeah, I've heard that. So something that sort of expansive,
Yeah.
with those sort of like leveling up, everything like that. But at the same time, with sort of the crafting mechanics and the survival mechanics of something like Dying Light, but with crafting, so base building, resource gathering. So
Okay.
more of a like Dying Light, but on a massive scale, where because Dying Light it's open world, but it's still linear. You know, you're using bases that are already there. You're using things that are already there. So touching on the games like we played, like the is it the Forest and things like that.
Right.
You know, you have to start from the ground up, gather the resources. You could even set it in like a post-apocalyptic Fallout world or something. But start from grassroots level and build up, but have a massive, expansive world with multiple other players. So you can actually set up sort of trade networks with other players. So if you have more of a certain commodity that they need and you need others, you can actually barter deals with other players, and you can team up with other players or other villages and create alliances. And then you could sort of attack with group alliances versus group enemies. Again, you could take inspiration from like The Walking Dead. You know, The Walking Dead, they're gathering the needs and the resources. They find a place they deem safe to set up camp. They meet other people, which is other players. Do you deem that they're safe to come in? Because these players could be out for PvP, not to work as a team. So you take a risk inviting them into your sort of base and things. And you sort of grow with the game. But there is a lot of action and a lot of survival mechanics as well in there. So that's what I came up with.
No,
I threw a few titles in there, so it's difficult to pin down like the exact titles. But
I feel like it's like six games in one kind of
it's
thing.
a mashup. It's a mashup.
value.
Basically,
Good
like a
value.
massive
Yeah.
multiplayer online.
Yeah.
But with, you know, again, I'll throw another title in, like the Age of Empires. Instead of going through
Your favourite.
instead of going through the ages, go through seasons. So like spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then the variants of those seasons again affect your resource gathering. So certain resources won't grow in winter, so you'd have to, you know, think about what other resources you can get, or you'd need a trade network set up for during that season of the year. And you'd have to maintain your base, protect it from both computer enemies, but also other players that want to invade your base. Again, another title, I suppose Rust is touching on it, but it's still not as deep and in depth as sort of I'm imagining it. Whether it had ever come about, probably not. It's probably too
big. With you saying about the seasons, like the spring, summer, autumn, winter. What would be really cool as well is if you had like different, like, I don't know, areas or continents or like parts of world or whatever that were in a different season. Do you know what I mean? Almost like it's sort of, like where we get like winter here, like over like, for example, like Australia to us, they don't really see that side of it. Do you know what I mean? So kind of like using that, but like you could, like you were saying about the trade network, you could even have like something going on where you can trade with, you know what I mean? Like another sort of area.
You could also make the decision whether it's worth the risk actually trying to get to.
Exactly.
Before the weather kicks in and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that kind of thing.
I guess quite a dynamic world is what I'm envisaging.
Yeah.
But with a real sense of, both reliance and fear of real world players. Because I think having a real human being behind that character, you can predict to an extent AI. Whereas people, you could just have someone out there to have a complete laugh and mess up people's worlds. Or you could have someone actually really trying to immerse themselves into that character. So you can genuinely meet so many different people from walks of life, which would be the case if it happened in a real world scenario. You'd have to make a judgment on these people, both on face value and then as to the value of your community as you build it over time, I think.
Yeah.
I like that. I do.
Have I wet your whistle, Luigi?
You have. You've made me think, because it's, compared to mine, it's it's different. I think we're all going to have something different.
I feel like I've kind of like my idea's kind of worthless now. Like, he's done it again.
He's done it again.
Should I dumbed it down like Mario Kart?
Well, you kind of like, the 6, 7, 8, 12, 50 games in one kind of ruined mine.
50 games in one, that's already your title, isn't it?
Many times over, I think.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think I was looking at more sort of the mechanics and I suppose like the interface and the world of games as opposed to the actual characters and titles of games.
Yeah.
Like, basically, it's the biggest MMO ever. With the real, instead of being this, I suppose you could add like zombies and stuff, but more like a real world scenario. So either post-apocalyptic, so it's literally as if it happened to the world and you do have to rely on team play and resource gathering, or you could throw in zombies or mutations or whatever, but there'd have to be something that you obviously sort of.
So what were the underlining sort of two games that you?
It was Skyrim and
to me it was Skyrim because of just the expansive world. Like, I may be wrong, but I haven't played it massively. But when I did play, I was like, Christ Almighty! And the reason I didn't play it as much is because I just didn't have the time to invest because it was that big. Now, if you're following like more of a story-based game, you need that time. Whereas if it was an MMO, you can commit as much time as you want, and it's up to you whether you make it to the other side of the world, so to speak. You can pretty much set up shop in your little corner of the world and be happy with it, and you can do as much as you want when you want. But when it's story-driven, you sort of don't really get anywhere unless you invest the time. So from the size and like the leveling up, the crafting, that sort of thing. So it would be Skyrim, but then I like, to me, there's probably a lot better games, but like the Dying Light and the Left Dead and Dying Light games like that, you are heavily reliant on your team members.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But those two titles leaves out sort of crafting and trade networks and things like that. So that's where you have to throw in something like a real-time strategy like Age of Empires or something.
Fair play. Well, I like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we'll move. Thank you for that, Andy. We'll move on now to Barnaby. So take it away.
Yeah, so actually I'm going to do a Sam here and say that, Andy, you also kind of spoilt my idea by mentioning Super Mario Kart. My idea was...
It's just
if it's
named
Sonic
every
characters,
game.
it's already been done.
Yeah. So yeah, my idea was Super Mario Kart, but in a more simulation-based role-playing world. So there have been
like
realistic...
Diddy Kong Racing?
No, even more so than that, because that was
okay.
open world,
but it didn't really have that kind of simulation aspect to it. And
Yeah,
by
true,
that, I
yeah.
mean actually tweaking your car.
So,
So you
like,
tweak the engine, you tweak the wheels, much
It's
more
like
in depth.
Project Cars meets Super Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
But even more than that is I was thinking to make it more of a team-based racer as well. A bit like with F1, you have several drivers who are racing from the same
Oh,
team.
yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be
So
really
you
good.
also cultivate relationships. So, for example, if Mario makes friends with Yoshi, it kind of increases both of their stats. But then if they have a falling out, it decreases the stats, and Yoshi might even like leave to join Team Bowser or whatever. So it's also
Yeah,
developing relationships with your co-drivers.
Imagine
So,
a character select screen. Bowser, Princess, Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel,
Exactly.
Toad.
That would be amazing, actually.
Yeah.
That
So
would
there's
actually
like
be-
different shops to unlock as you go around the world, and there's different areas to unlock. So it's kind of open world like Diddy Kong Racing, but it's much more of a simulation
yeah.
aspect to it for it. So it's still fun, and I imagine that you could still have like just a quick race anywhere, but the actual main campaign would be really in depth. And if you could make it like a co-op game as well, so you could have like 4 players all on the same team or 4 people playing together, but they've got their co-op drivers with you, so it could be like a 4 versus 4 versus 4.
Yeah, I
that'd
feel
be
like
awesome.
that has huge. Yeah, that would be like, has potential to be absolutely amazing. But I think in terms of execution, it would have to be very well thought through, like to get it perfect. Because if it wasn't, it could really tarnish like the Mario franchise in the way. Like, but I do believe that that could actually work like really well. Like definitely.
If anyone could make that game, Nintendo can.
True.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
If
exactly.
if F1 and Nintendo worked together and took their time, they could release something absolutely beautiful with that. I think. I quite like that idea actually. More I think about it, because, like you say, it's just
like
like
Mario's in the real world almost, and it's kind of like that.
But no,
crossover.
it's still the Mario universe, but it's a more in-depth, more detailed one. It's a bit like how
you feel a bit more submerged within that world, like with yeah.
That's the
Maybe
only
something
thing
like
Mario
Mario
Kart misses.
Kart.
There's no depth.
Yeah,
It's
Mario
like
Kart
it's
meets
fun.
Mario RPG.
Yeah, it's like it's fun, but at the same time, like for example, it's like you play Mario Kart. Yeah, it's fun. There's crazy weapons, blah blah. But you don't get any things like tire wear. You don't have to go in the pits. You don't have to like do any of that stuff. Whereas like if that came into play, they'd switch the whole game up. And if obviously the tracks were bigger, and they weren't so like, because Mario Kart's
just a little bit bigger, not too short, because otherwise, not too much longer. Otherwise, it loses some of that fun aspect if it becomes more of a marathon. But maybe just a little bit longer than they are currently.
Yeah, and maybe increase the laps or something, so that you get there's loads of things in terms of balance that they could do to make it work. It's
and
just,
I think it would be more of a side game rather than the main Mario Kart series. It'd be just like a side offshoot. So it's not going to be for everyone, but I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
and also when you throw in the character development and the RPG elements,
that's a bit like, I apologise to even put EA in the same sentence as Nintendo, but that's a bit like what EA did with the FIFA franchise, because they, FIFA football is very much pick up and play. It's a quick match, it's a quick game, the same as a Mario Kart is. But then they implemented, I don't know the exact term, but where you take on a role of I
think it's legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, grassroots football or something, and you have to progress. So you're still playing the same mechanics, but then you're actually improving the different areas of you as a player, your skills, your training, things like that, and you have to take into consideration other variables to progress through it. So it's the same mechanics, but there's a bit more of a story and a bit more depth to it.
I didn't play it myself, but I've seen it played. And after each match, there's also like a TV segment where you can choose dialogue options.
Yeah.
So you can come across as being a really kind of like brash arsehole, or you can be very humble and down to earth. And I think that would be cool as well, having like Lakitu doing a little filming after the race, and you can either slag off or you can choose to like play down your own abilities as you see fit. So having those dialogue options in there as well, RPG style.
It was well received by the FIFA community, and like Sam was saying, I think and Sam's a big Mario Kart player from what I've heard. I think there's a huge potential for that.
Yeah, no, I think it. if thought through well, and obviously
it's a fine line to balance. Yeah,
it's a very fine line, but I do think that it could work definitely. And like you said, Andy, if anyone can do it, it's Nintendo. So
I think I'll certainly play that all day long if they released it and did it
well. I would play it.
Well, if by any miracle somebody who works for Nintendo or the F1 is hearing this, then please do get in touch with Barnaby.
Hit up Luigi 8 Mario and we'll talk royalties.
Yeah, hit me up and we'll discuss the contract.
Well, hang on. There's, Terra's here as well, and
we'll do it as a group. So yeah. You never know.
We'll endorse it.
We just want characters in game.
Yes, exactly. No, I like that. Very good idea.
Luigi's already in there.
Yeah,
exactly. I really like that idea. So very well thought through. So we'll move on to you, Sam. So if you want to take it away.
Okay. So I did think about it, and to be fair, there were a couple of ideas I had, and I know we're only sticking to one, so I'm going to have to choose my first initial one. So it's basically GTA meets DayZ. In the sense of you have the open world like GTA. You do all the obviously there's a story mode, there's different characters, you meet new characters along the way, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of ends up going into almost like a DayZ sort of situation, or I suppose a Walking Dead situation, where it's still all open world and everything starts off fine, like GTA, whatever. And it just, over time, this sort of this thing comes in, like obviously virus, whatever kind of sort of idea, but you're still in the GTA world, you're still going around stealing the cars, you've still got to do the missions, but it's just become like chaos, and everything's just and as you progress through the game, you adapt to the situation that you're in and you complete new missions, blah, blah, blah. But then, fundamentally, I suppose the end goal of the game is you go through different stages. It starts off like I said, normal. Then you go into this almost survival kind of thing, but you're still doing missions because you've got to do them to progress through the game. You meet new characters. They've had their backstory. Like, oh my God, I was caught up in the mess, over in, San Andreas or whatever. It all went crazy. Do you know what I mean? And it's just kind of this, GTA meets DayZ kind of zombie craziness, but you've kept the open world and you've kept that kind of GTA style. Do you know what I mean? So it's not completely derelict. In fact, if anything, it's more like you just see people running down the street, just it's just chaotic. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, as you go through the game, that changes, but kind of mixing those two together, I think would be.
That does sound really cool.
And I think,
and I like how it starts off as a normal GTA game in the modern world, and it gradually devolves.
Yeah,
you actually see the start of the outbreak. I really like that idea.
Yeah, and that's it. And you just go through it, and it just gets worse and worse, obviously. And then the end goal obviously is to, I suppose, try and get to where you need to be to get a cure, whatever. You end up being the guy that your role is very important within trying to save, wherever it might be. Say San Andreas, or I suppose in theory the world, because it's like a world outbreak. But you know what I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
But you're still using that huge open world kind of GTA sort of style of play, and I think if Rockstar did something like that, they would be the ones. It'd have to be done by someone like Rockstar, because we've seen.
Who's to say that GTA 6 isn't full of zombies?
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I wouldn't.
It'd be full of cowboys.
I wouldn't want it to be like I wouldn't want it to be like your typical zombie game in terms of the Walking Dead, or I'm talking they could really create something quite special with it if they went down that route of GTA, because
there is a lot to be explored still in the open world genre, isn't there?
Oh, yeah,
definitely. I think we've only really scratched the surface, and as consoles and PCs become more powerful, the abilities of open world games just get stronger and stronger.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think, like you say, with the power of the consoles, PCs increasing, we're going to see even larger scaled open world games where we're going to catch. I know you can catch planes or whatever already, but we're talking you're traveling almost as if you've got like GTA, the size of GTA 5, you can travel to another size of GTA 5. Like, that's like the sort of scale of it. But again, like,
that's the next step. Yeah, definitely.
When you can actually get on a plane with like 50 other real life characters, that would be really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you all have to kind of
one of them could blow up the plane or something like that, and you're like, come on.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And like, you let's say like there's a mission, like you're online or whatever, and like you've got to at 2:00, you've got to catch the flight to, I don't know, wherever, San Francisco, whatever. And you literally, there are 50, like people, like only 50 people can ever accept that one mission. So you know for a fact that it doesn't matter. There's always going to be 50 of you, or however many decide to do the mission, are going to be at that point in time, like at the terminal, waiting to catch the flight. Like you're saying, you could have somebody who's out of all the people who select the mission, one person gets a different objective. Like you either blow the plane up or you hijack the plane, and nobody else knows.
That's really cool.
That would be badass.
Yeah, that would be so good, wouldn't it? And nobody would know like that you've had that mission. Like, yeah, that would be.
Or you might even suspect. You might have 50 guys all suspecting the other of being the bomber.
Yeah, it's like Among Us. Is it Among Us? It's like that, but on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's literally
Among Us meets GTA meets The Walking Dead.
There's another mashup.
A little bit of this reminds me of State of Decay, and I say that simply because when the first State of Decay came out, it was looked upon as like a GTA style game, but in a zombie apocalypse world. And it is very much because it's an open world, and in State of Decay 2 built upon the first one. But obviously, at the end of the day, you can't compare with GTA. GTA is the goat, the goat when it comes to, open world, sort of normal life game as such. But because for example, I think it's State of Decay 3. I'm sure I saw some. I've just tried to look it up, but I can't find it. I'm sure they said something about in one sort of time you could have up to like a few hundred zombies on screen, which is, do you know what I mean? To have if you think 300, say around 300 individual zombies on screen, that is a crazy amount, and if it's in an open world, something like, like you said, GTA, let's just say, I know there are mods on PC for like a zombie, sort of apocalypse style world, but nothing like what could be done officially. But yeah, you could just imagine it like you get in a helicopter or something and you're flying over near some, I don't know, a big open space, and there's just hundreds of real-time zombies that if you land down there, do you know what I mean? Like, you're just going to get absolutely killed.
That's already like 298 more people on screen than Cyberpunk managed in Town Centre.
Something like that.
The other one I was going to touch on was to say that about GTA. Again, it was going to be sort of a collab with GTA, but it was kind of like Rainbow Six meets GTA, but in the sense of like not the latest one where it's first person, like a third person, like Vegas style sort of. You're basically like an undercover operative that you're in the open world like GTA, but you're like a highly trained, like SAS badass dude that like goes around. Nobody knows that you're like that, but you kind of, again, you meet people, you've got to do certain missions, and like as you progress through the game, you get sent on like a specific mission to kill like obviously some high profile guy. But as like, with GTA, kind of things just kind of take a turn as you meet new people and all that kind of thing. And I thought like maybe you could like go with that like kind of thing. Like, and that was my other thought on collabing with it. But yeah, I don't know how well that would go down, or whether it's kind of not necessarily already been done. But do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I thought if out of the two, the DayZ one kind of seemed like it would be, I don't know, it probably worked better.
I like the DayZ one because how I touched on with the seasons, that's very similar. But whereas the seasons obviously rotate every four seasons, yours is more progressive, isn't it? But it's still a dynamic. It's an additional dynamic that's missed from a lot of games. So yours gets progressively pretty much worse, doesn't it? It gets to ground zero. So yeah, I do like that. It adds all of the gameplay changes on the back of the actual world you're gaming in.
Yeah,
and I suppose you could make like with I suppose GTA or whatever. Yeah, your choices result in obviously different outcomes. Do you know what I mean? So if they really wanted to really sort of expand on it, there could be almost a way to play the game without even there being a breach or a close. Do you know what I mean? Like a small breach of the outbreak, or there could be like a huge outbreak. Depending on what decisions you make as the character and how you want to play the game, can basically result in how the game unfolds and how bad the situations can get and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I do really like that. Whilst
what you got, Luigi? Alien versus Predator?
No, I'm not.
Alien versus Predator for Alien versus Predator.
Hang on a moment. No, I just want to touch on GTA before we go on to mine, because I've always thought to myself, like, especially with sort of when GTA 4 came on the scene, and then obviously now we've got GTA 5. I know it's not the point of that game, but I've always thought the GTA world would be very good as a bit like like The Sims, for example, but not actually, still playing in the style of GTA, but where you can live in the Los Santos or whatever, and you can sort of, apply for jobs and just live like your normal life.
And then get held up by another player.
Yeah, well, like real life
simulation. But
yeah, like you can choose like to be on like the good side. You could even maybe become a police officer, or you could go down the route of becoming a criminal.
Where's Tony when we need him? He loves his simulators.
He does, doesn't he? But you know what I mean? That world, I think, would be perfect for something like that. And like if you come across another character, if you've got everything all hooked up, you can talk to them, like as in like not character, but another actual human.
I feel like it wouldn't work. The only reason I say that is because you say about you could be a police officer, you could be this. I mean, I can't see many people opting to be bin men or opting to be like.
They don't want to work at the strip clubs in GTA.
No, there's nothing wrong with those jobs. But what I'm saying is, as like players, do you think they're going to choose like, I'm just going to be like the toilet cleaner at the primary school? No.
But hang on a minute.
They're just not going to choose.
No. But obviously, they'd have to be like a select amount of jobs, not literally every job going on the planet.
So basically, anyone who buys the game and arrives late is just screwed.
That is a good incentive to buy it on launch, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
True. Buy now, you're going to end up cleaning the bogs.
No, I don't mean that way. I mean in terms of, I meant there's a select as in, you can choose to be a police officer. You could choose to be a fast food worker. Do you know what I mean? You could choose to be a delivery person. Whatever.
Even out of those three, which one are you going for?
Me?
Yeah.
Fast food worker.
Fast food, isn't it?
Fast food worker. But no, I think it'd be quite cool myself. But anyway.
Did you say fast food or faff food worker?
Well, I'm always faffing, aren't I? So
he's the CEO of a food chain.
Anyway, we'll get on to my actual one.
What's yours then, mate? Your actual.
Right now, just hear me out here, okay, guys.
Not Bubsy, is it?
No. Right.
Crash Bandicoot meets Themed Hospital. Some weird twisted.
No,
I was thinking Bubsy meets Zelda or something.
No, totally wrong. I would mix the franchise, say, Civilization with Battlefield. Now, hear me out. Hear me out on this, right? So, for example, with Civilization, when you come across somebody who's you're at war with, let's say, depending if you've got archers or whatever, legion, this, that, the other, horsemen, or later on you get obviously tanks, this, that, the other, that you have the option that when that fight scene is happening, you have the option to jump in and actually play that fight scene out yourself. Does that make sense? Do you get where I'm... Barney, do you get where I mean?
I get where you're coming from exactly.
Again,
yes.
FIFA do exactly that.
Yes.
Again,
yes.
I hate EA, but in the FIFA games, the manager mode, you can jump into the game if like the simulation's going to pop. You can be like, right, I'm going to save this and jump in.
Yeah,
so
I did think that because, like you said, with FIFA, you depending how you want to play, you could go through pretty much all of the management mode in simulation, and it's a bit like Football Manager in that way. Then, but then this gives people the choice that if you just want to play it how Civilization is played, you play it like that, or you want to mix it up like me with FIFA, because I've used the sim mode. I mix it up. Like I usually play the matches, but if I think I can't be bothered to play through, I'll just let that one do the sim, do it on sim, and I think that would work with, I'm not saying Civilization themselves, but if a company was to come out with this style of game where I don't know, we was attacking a city to take it over, and you could actually then sort of, it zooms in and off you go, like you're surrounded. And I know that's a lot to ask for in terms of gaming, but like say with technology progressing, I don't think that
would be pretty cool. So it's almost like a strategy game, but then like you click on a specific character and you're like, right, now it's time to get fully immersed.
Yeah, and then you go into like first person view or something.
That would actually be awesome.
I'm thinking Age of Empires, jumping on the back of an elephant or something.
Exactly. And then if you could like obviously reverse it as well, so like you can be like, right, I need to go back into like commander mode as such, like, whatever you want to call it, and like you end up then going back into that kind of like you're taking control of the characters again. That would be awesome. But in terms of online, I would be thinking, how could you get that to work with a lot of people? Would it just be 1v1, but you have all the AI, and then you can just choose which ones you want to individually control?
Well, I think it'd be down to the player to decide if they step in with a unit, because in doing that, your mind's off the bigger plan map. It's like your mind's no longer in commander mode, so you got a benefit on the battlefield, but not so much on commander mode.
I think it would be overpowering to be the commander. Like if you then switch to first person, what would that balance be like? In terms of like you were saying, you got to make that right choice, right decision at that right time. Is it worth me jumping in when I can control everything from where I am as the commander as such?
Well, it depends how hectic the situation is. If you being like commander
if you could have
mode,
different perks, if you could have different perks as you went in as first person that you can't do when you're in commander, that would be the balance, wouldn't it? Like
was it Battlefield 4 or 1 that had commander mode in it? Or did they both?
I think Battlefield 4 had it.
Because I remember playing commander mode, and it's quite godly. Like you can actually rack up some serious kills in commander mode.
I never seen that. I've never seen it.
I think it was introduced.
You can play it on and you can play it on a tablet and things. It's like an app. But you're actually classed as a commander within the main multiplayer map. So you'd have like 20, 30 people on your squad or whatever, and then there'd be one commander slot. If you were commander, that was it. But you'd be able to send like drones in, recon, missile strikes, all things like that, based on the intel that the squad sends back to you. I quite enjoyed it because it gave like a strategy perspective to the Battlefield game, and it was great for me to lay in bed and play it and stuff. Yes, you lose the immersion, but I'm thinking that Luigi's idea could work because it's
probably what modern commanders are like, though, because they're distant from the battlefield. They're seeing everything digitally, so that probably is a fairly accurate analog of what it is like to be a modern day commander.
Yeah. You're just causing chaos from a small little office in India, laughing at everyone.
Trump and his red button.
Yeah, literally.
But no, I mean, I did give it a lot of thought, and for me, because as everyone knows, I jump around with my games, and
never.
Yeah, of course. Wow, there's so many games, not enough time to play them. But I jump around a lot. But if I had to hone in on something that I would be like, right, what would keep my interest for an extremely long time, it would definitely be that, because obviously, like most people, I do enjoy first-person shooters or just first-person games, doesn't have to be shooting games or whatever, but then I do like strategy, and that for me is perfect balance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got the same taste, so I love
It's
that.
a cool idea.
Yeah, I
Cool.
do.
I like
I
it.
do. I think that's a good idea as well.
And like you said, Andy, even with Age of Empires, any sort of strategy game, like as technology progresses through the years, I think that could possibly become something that they look at doing. And
you could even go as far
imagine
as...
it in.
No, sorry,
I'll let you go, Sam. I was going to say, imagine it in VR. Like you're playing strategy, top down, and suddenly you put on the VR headset and you're in the battlefield.
That would be immense.
It would, yeah,
absolutely
it would be,
immense.
I was going to say, you could even go as far as, I don't know if any of you guys played Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, but you could switch between, on the single player, you could actually switch between the characters themselves. So you could be going along, you could look at another character and you push X or whatever it was, and it would zoom across the map, and then you would become that other player. So you could even go as far as to say that you're in commander mode, you then zoom into the player you choose at that specific time. But if it gets hectic or you need to switch to someone else, you can look at somebody else on the battlefield and go, I need to go to him. Yeah. Press the button, you end up being that guy. You sort of switches to him.
That sounds like something like the agents out of Matrix.
I was going to say exactly. That sounds exactly like that.
Kind of, yeah. I suppose kind of like that. I mean, that might be taking it too far. I don't know. But they did do that in Battlefield Modern Combat in the single player mode. And it actually was I thought it was really cool. I actually really enjoyed the single player, and actually the single player on that particular game was really difficult. Even with it being able to switch the characters, it was still a very difficult game. I think mainly down to you kind of got a certain amount of, there was only ever a certain amount of AI characters that were ever in that particular level or whatever. So once they died, they were gone, and once all of them had died, you were then out of the game effectively. So it kind of gave you the chance to switch between the characters, but at the same time, if once they were gone kind of thing. So, but again, don't want to go off topic too much, but throwing that into what you would say could then give it another dimension entirely, It could.
Oh no, I like that. I remember you actually at college, Sam. That was one of the biggie, Battlefield 2. You was like, so good, it's so good. I remember you saying.
Yeah, I did like it. It's because I always liked Battlefield, but they never really had a Battlefield on console. I believe it was the first Battlefield to come onto console, and it was on the original Xbox, and you could play online. And it was just like, for a console gamer to be able to play online with voice chat in a sort of open-ish kind of world as Battlefield was just groundbreaking for consoles. You know what I mean? So at the time, it was like, this is awesome, this is amazing, because I was quite young as well back then, and my friends who were a bit older than me had PCs, and I couldn't afford a PC, but they were like, I used to go around and watch them. They'd be playing Battlefield, and I'd be like, that just looks so good. I just want to play that. But on console, you just didn't really have anything like that. We kind of had I think there was maybe Rainbow Six back in the day, or those kind of things that were very early on in the online sort of FPS sort of side of it. I mean, so it was that particular game at the time for me was really really good, and a few of my friends. I'm not sure if you got that particular one, but I know you definitely jumped on Battlefield not long after that.
Yeah, no, I came on the scene after that with Battlefield.
But that was I really enjoyed that. But it was
nice.
It was good. It was good.
Nice.
Good times.
Yeah. See, so I think to be honest, I think we have actually pretty much all chosen something different, really, haven't we? I was a bit worried, thinking to myself, "Oh, are we all going to pick something very similar?" But no, it's quite a good range of games there, and
I think they're all pretty decent ideas.
Yeah.
So all of us need to get into the game development industry.
Yeah. So anybody listening, hit us up.
I think they did all have a common thread, though, which is a fairly open, a tendency towards open world.
Yes.
Civilization's always been open world. My idea would take Mario Kart into more of an open world. And then both Sam and Andy's were quite open world as well. They're very open world.
Yeah.
That is a common thread, I think, running through it.
Yeah.
I think it's all down to, in a lot of ways, we're getting to a stage now where people are kind of running out of ideas to a degree as to what not saying that, there's still a lot that can be touched on in gaming and what games can still bring to the table, but I do think fundamentally, like, as a ground kind of like rule for games and what can be made has already been made, and it's very difficult to try and find something fresh, new, that it's just not out there.
Well,
do you know what I mean? So
I think that's true over most entertainment, whether it be music, films, whatever. I think we've sort of reached a point where we're probably not really going to see a major change in genre between. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's going to be more refinements, isn't it? Refinements on existing genre and expansions on existing
expansions.
genre.
Yeah, I think expansions on existing genres, and like you say, refinement are definitely going to be the key sort of elements really in terms of game development going forward. I do believe that, like we said, with GTA or whatever, like turning that into, we're not just San Andreas, we're like GTA US, I know we wouldn't call it this, but GTA USA, for example, is like the next step. You're kind of traveling like over serious, like, distances, and there's going to be a lot more content in there. I do think that is kind of for those open world games anyway. That's kind of where they're going to be headed.
Look at Microsoft Flight Simulator. They've just got to now implement that on the ground. Which I do know obviously would take a lot more work because there's a lot going on the ground compared to in the sky.
Just upload Google Earth.
Exactly.
Imagine GTA Cross Flight Simulator.
Oh my god! Well, yeah. Do you know what?
You literally couldn't get a more open world game.
Do you know that could work? Because the flight simulators.
I don't think we've got I don't know if we've even got the technology or
the processing power to run that bad boy.
It's the processing power that would be the killer. But I do believe that we will do. It will happen. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, eventually. Definitely.
But
we'll all join the Oasis.
Yes.
Right. Well, is there? Does anybody have any other ideas that they want to discuss that wasn't their main ones? If just before we
thought about it, there's probably millions, because when you cross two games together, you're creating something bigger than the original parts. I think so.
Yeah,
you could go around in circles forever thinking about dreaming up crazy and wonderful new ideas for games.
Yeah,
I do think we had some. Everyone had some really solid sort of points and I think I'd have to give it to probably. I don't know if I give it to Barney. I think he did. I think that idea would be
shock horror. The Nintendo super fan over here, Sam.
No, not because of Nintendo. I'm just saying because I think out of all of ours, it was way different. Like it was something that was just way almost as if you wouldn't even think to do that. But then when you actually think,
in a way, it's kind of stolen though. Because did you ever play Super Hang On Mega Drive?
No, I didn't play that.
It had a career mode. Game. Yep. So it had a career mode, and basically it was just an expansion of that idea. Take the Super Hang On arcade game and add a few RPG elements.
But you've made me just remember that because you can customize your bike in that.
Yes, exactly. Although I just expanded on that idea and took it to Super Mario Kart, which is my favorite racing game.
I feel like I shouldn't have given it to you now.
At least he was honest. He was honest.
Magician revealing his tricks.
Yeah, cheated us all.
We're stripping you of your trophy, Barnaby.
You're stripping me, are you?
That'll be the one idea that we get approached for, and we're like, "Damn it, we can't take credit." Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll edit that bit out.
You're gonna have to edit the video
out.
Yeah. Right. No, that was very good ideas. I can't say. Well, 1 minute. Let me get this the right way round. Yeah, I can't say I wouldn't play any of those ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a compliment.
I probably could have said that in a much easier way, but that's
I'll just say
I would play all of those ideas.
There you go.
Yeah, I would happily play those games.
Yeah.
That's how simple it could have been.
Yes, well, you boys know me. I don't do things easy, do I? I always go the hard way about things. But there was something I wanted to actually ask you guys about, because There was chatter a while ago in regards to Microsoft buying Discord. Have you? I'm guessing you've seen the news with Discord.
I thought it was Sony wanted to buy Discord.
No. Microsoft wanted to, and they Microsoft were, I believe, wanting to purchase Discord for 10 billion.
Yeah, that's right.
10 billion?
10 billion, which Discord refused.
What?
Yeah. So now, Sony, you're right, Andy, Sony is on with them, but it's a partnership. Sony haven't purchased Discord.
Oh, okay.
So
Microsoft wanted the monopoly to take it off.
Yeah, Microsoft wanted to actually own it, and whereas PlayStation's gone the route of a partnership with them. So it's looking likely.
Basically, Sony are just paying Discord a fee just to
a license in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with that knowledge, I think then they're going to be revamping their sort of PlayStation sort of chat service.
You got to.
On Sony, on PlayStation, sorry, I think the route they're going here is not to have it as a separate sort of app. I think it's going to be implemented within the sort of the PlayStation as the
But what confuses me is Microsoft are willing to pay out 10 billion for Discord, yet if they used 10 billion pounds worth of revenue to fund a team or a very large team here for 10 billion, surely they could come up with something equally as good as Discord if they were to invest that much money into it. Like, let's be honest, like 10 billion pounds, that's a ridiculous amount of money. Like, wow. That they could surely they could fund their own sort of version of Discord. I know it's trying to get the people over. Like, I know that obviously 10 billion covers the fact that they've already got millions and millions and millions of people that use Discord every day. But I don't know. It just seems like an awful lot of money for them to, they've been refused. I mean, if I was Microsoft, I'd just be like, well, we could probably invest 1 billion into trying to make something and see. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel that
it's a crazy amount of money.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous amount of money.
But again, pennies to them, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't understand how they've
valued it at 10 billion.
No, not valued it. I can't understand how Discord didn't accept that offer.
Because you don't know how much the value of, for example, the license into Sony is going to generate them over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Well,
yeah. Plus, on top of that,
they get licenses from other companies as well.
There'll be all sorts of fundamentals obviously involved with it. And if they're turning down 10 billion, they're going to have a bloody good reason for it, aren't they?
That's what I mean. Think of it as buying a house. You buy a house, you renovate it, you flip it, and you get the most money in the short term. But if you rented it out, you'd make a lot more in the long term. So it depends on what Discord sort of business model.
Yeah, their business model. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
Yeah, maybe they're just in a position like 10 billion, great. Yeah, huge amount of money. But they're making probably that much money that to them, we don't need 10 billion. We're making this much money. We could quite happily sit here for another 5 years, make all this money, and then sell it for 10 billion. And then we'll get 5 years worth of money plus another 10 billion, or plus even bigger offer, like 5 years down the line when, it grows even more.
Well, I suppose even...
Why do you think Microsoft are offering 10 billion? They can see it in the long run. They're thinking, we'll offer 10 billion now. In 10 years' time, it's probably going to be worth like triple that, maybe more. Like, do you know what I mean? You just don't know. But
well, I think it's regardless whether it goes to Microsoft, Sony, whatever. I suppose with it going to Sony, it is going to make that cross-play that much easier, because I believe you can use Discord on Xbox, can't you?
I think you can, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can, as a individual sort of app. And then obviously you've got Discord on PC. So it's going to make that communication between sort of those devices a lot easier.
Because I think I know that when I did a bit of cross-play, I mean, I was using Skype with friends who are on Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
We're just using. So I was on PC, I know you can use it in-game chats or whatever, but let's be honest, they're never as good as having your own sort of private party chat or whatever you want to call it. And we were using Skype. Now, like you say, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can use Discord. I might be mistaken. I don't know whether you can use it on the Xbox though. I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure we looked at this, and this is why we ended up using Skype at the time, because I'm only going back like probably 12 months. Not
okay.
that long ago. Okay. I believe that we looked at Discord and it wasn't available, and that's why we ended up having to use Skype. But I could be wrong.
Right. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, because I do want to play it. Right, Resident Evil. Now we all know Resident Evil Village is out.
Yeah.
It seems to have really good.
I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, it seems to be well received. Well, this is what I wanted to say. Now, when I've been streaming on Twitch, obviously, I did mention on there a couple of times about possibly streaming Resident Evil 7. Because I said it's a sort of, obviously it's going to make me jump because I'm a wuss. I don't really like horror games.
But it'll make you feel safer knowing some viewers are with you.
Exactly. If they're there, talking me through it.
Hang on a minute.
Unless one of them is a serial killer.
Hang on. We were playing co-op. We played co-op Resident Evil 5. I held your hand every step of the way. Resident Evil 5 was not even scary, and yet you were like, no, I can't play that. It's too scary. And that's probably the least scary Resident Evil out of every single one.
I know. But this
Resident Evil 7 is pretty scary.
Yeah, and Resident Evil 7's in like the top 3 probably worst Resident Evils for like
5 was a little bit scary. 6 wasn't scary. Not really.
Yeah, 5 was, maybe 6 was probably the least scary, but 5 was definitely up there as being not like that bad, like as far as Resident Evil.
Well, you see, I think it would make for good viewing for the fact that I am a wuss, and it is going to make me scream.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it.
But my question, see, now this is what I wanted to get at, is I did see that Resident Evil Village, they toned down the scariness level compared to 7, because 7 was like, they said it was like extremely scary. So then
in VR.
Then I'm sitting here like, hang on a minute, Resident Evil Village, I look like I'm going to shit my pants, and I want to go and play Resident Evil 7. Like, is that a good idea? Like,
Seven was scary, like in terms of, it definitely made you jump, like in places. But I wouldn't say it was the scariest Resident Evil I'd ever played. Like, no way.
Really?
Maybe in VR.
VR is something else.
Yeah, I do believe that when people mention how horrendously scary it is, they are referring to it when you play it in VR more so than when you're not.
Okay. It's so immersive.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty bad in VR. And then thinking back after playing through it, I could imagine that, I bet that would be horrendous, actually. Playing in VR.
Because I've only done the kitchen demo, Resident Evil 7 kitchen demo of the VR. And
even that, the suspense, though, as you're walking around.
And when the head they throw the head at you, like from the darkness, you can't see who's done it. And you're like, what the hell?
You wait till you meet the family, and then you have to go and see where the dad, and he keeps just coming up every so often. It's just bad, mate.
I think I'm going to have to. I'm just going to have to put myself through it, I think, because...
Can we start it tonight?
And can you please do it in VR and film you wearing the headset?
Well,
and stream that, so we actually see you fall on your ass and shit yourself.
I haven't got my VR, the PlayStation.
I don't think Luigi would come out. Like, I don't think he'd be the same man after he plays that in VR.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
Even just playing it normally, I think it. My anxiety's terrible, so part of me's like, don't put yourself through this.
I think you'd get section, bud. I wouldn't bother. You'd literally be like, take me to the nut house. I can't deal with my life.
Well, you see, but this is the thing. This is why I feel if I was to play it through on Twitch, obviously, in a sense, like when I'm dealing with conversations on Twitch, it puts you back into your real world. It's there's the real life, and that's the game. Whereas when
that's until you find out you're playing in the dark, and then you turn around and all the lights are off in your house, and then you start seeing things.
The worst thing is when you've played it, you've chatted to all the people online, you're like, okay, right, I'm going to get off now, guys. Then you shut your computer down and you're on your own and it's pitch black. And you're like, all of all the images just start flashing back in your mind, and you're just like, fuck my
And you still got to make it to the bedroom.
Yeah,
that's all right. I've got a plan for that. I'm going to play it during the day instead. There you go.
I thought you were going to ring Maddie and be like, Maddie, come downstairs. Don't
Can you
make
hold my hand?
No sudden movements, no scariness. Just come downstairs, turn all the lights on, and escort me to my bed.
Hold me, embrace me, stroke my head. Let me fall asleep first.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, that was all I wanted to discuss, really, because Resident Evil Village, it does look really good, and I just wish that I had a bit more balls to play through.
The scariness aside, Resident Evil 7 is actually a really good game, like a really good game, and one that I would certainly recommend to play through, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the likes of, for example, The Last of Us. Now, I haven't played number 2 yet. Now, The Last of Us is it's got some fairly scary scenes and you sort of parts that you play. But, like I said, because of the story, that's what got me through. Like, I wanted to know what happened next. And I'm hoping that's what's going to happen if and when I play Resi 7. Like, the story...
You're not going to want to know what's next. You don't want to know what's behind the door.
Well,
no.
Well, hopefully, I'll get told on the chat.
When you play through that, I feel like you could work your way up to play The Evil Within, because
I've heard about The Evil Within.
I personally thought The Evil Within was horrendous.
Yeah, no, I've heard about those games.
See, I haven't played that. Is it a pretty horrific game?
It's bad. Like.
Is this horrific in the actual game itself, or horrific is in the horror value of it?
Oh, both. Like,
okay.
Yeah. No, it's a really good game. It's just the horror the horror. It really had me. I can play horror games, and don't get me wrong, I'll jump or whatever sometimes, but I can still sort of sit it out and play it. The Evil Within definitely had me like right on the edge of my seat, and even after I played it, I'd be like, do I want to be playing that tomorrow? I don't think I do. Like, that's pretty bad.
That makes me want to play it now.
Honestly, yeah. Play. All right, put it this way. Play it. Play the first 10 minutes, and straight away you're going to know you're in for like a seriously screwed up, fucking crazy-ass horror.
Is it horror as in traditional in-your-face horror? Is it more psychological? Or
it's definitely psychological horror, yeah. And but it's also can be quite in your face.
So it has a bit of everything.
Yeah, watch. Just watch the butcher scene. Just type in like the Evil Within butcher scene.
God.
Into YouTube and just watch that, and then you'll know that either whether or not it's a game you want to play.
Do you want to do that now, Luigi, while we're streaming? Like turn off the lights?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
But yeah, no, I have to say, there's actually a second one, not played it, and there might even be a third one. I don't know, but
is that because the first one traumatized you so much?
To be honest, no, I do want to play the second one, but for some reason, I just never got around to playing it. But it was it's a really good game, very, very much similar to Resident Evil, but
more gore, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just kind of like when you get those like kind of like horrors where you've got like the butcher's scenes where the guy's got like the rubber gloves on, he's got like the gown that's basically just covered in blood, like, and he's just got like a multitude of like different knives and just weapons and just things that he's just doing horrific things to people with. Or
he's just a very busy butcher.
Yeah.
It's just it's well worth playing. I don't want to give too much away because it's actually a really good game. But it gets you on the edge of your seat, and it definitely if you do like horror games, it's one that you need to play, really.
Right, I'll make sure I stay away from it then. No, I was told previously by a work colleague of Maddie's, because work colleague of hers, Chloe, she plays a lot of PlayStation, and she does like The Evil Within, and I think I was discussing Resident Evil with her. I'm pretty sure, and she did say, "Don't if that's if
you think that's scary, the Evil Within."
Yeah, she was like, "Do not touch the Evil Within." Then if you can't cope with Resident Evil,
it's just horrendous. Like it's
I've got to get this now. Although Barney's very quiet, I feel like he's played it and we're giving him like PTSD or something.
No, I don't deal well with horror games either. So
you don't. Oh, okay.
Well,
From memory, I'm pretty sure that the like when you start off, you are, like when butchers put people up on like hanging hooks, and you're like,
God.
I'm pretty sure you start off on a hanging hook and you're like upside down and you're just seeing him pick the people out the hooks. Then he takes them over to the table and you're just witnessing the whole thing while you're like stuck on this hanging hook.
Oh my
and
God.
You're just like, what the fuck's going to happen to me? Like, but while it's doing that, it's got that there's this really famous music that's in it.
Tiptoe through
No,
the
Wannabe Spice Girls?
No, it's like a really calming kind of music, but like that it's just twisted to hear that music to what the guy's doing. Yeah, literally, and it's
cinematic
just
technique.
Yeah, literally, yeah, that's exactly it. It's almost like meant to be a really calming, soothing song, but really it's just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, yeah, it's really creepy. So, and there's a lot of kind of like. Whereas on Resident Evil, you don't have to do that much kind of sneaking. On this, you kind of got to you've got to creep past certain people because if you get caught, it's going to be horrendous. And it's so in times it gets so immersive. You're literally like, should I go now or should I not? Like, 'cause if I don't go now, am I going to get caught? Like, but when you get caught, it really starts getting bad quick. Do you know what I mean? And like the noises, it's got those sharp sort of sounds in it, the really loud kind of like. Do you know what I mean? You just feel like your heart's like pumping out your chest sometimes when you're playing it. You're just like, fuck, like you're coming after me, I can't get away.
Yeah, I will definitely be keeping away from that. 100.
Have any of you guys played Alien Isolation? Because that's supposed to be quite suspenseful as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't played it
from a sneaking point of view.
I think I have. Yeah, I don't think I have.
No,
I haven't played it, but I think a friend of mine played it and said it was pretty good like that. Like it.
It's not got the horror, but it's got the suspense there, and you do have to sneak in if you don't.
Like the first Alien film.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
A title that I was surprised to find out was apparently gory, which I don't think was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dead Space. Has anybody played that?
Oh yeah, that was really good.
I have not.
Yeah, Dead Space was absolutely brilliant.
Was it gory? Because I was told it was.
No, not that gory.
Okay. I was misinformed then.
It's
if you like space and gore, Luigi, watch the film Event Horizon.
Kind of gory, but not.
Put it on your watch list.
I'll think about it. No, well, I think we'll wrap this up. But it's been.
What's our time count this evening?
Oh, let's have a look.
I think we're bang on an hour.
An hour and 3 minutes. Not bad.
Sweet.
Not bad.
Oh wow.
We've done all right this week. But no, I've enjoyed like usual. I've enjoyed the answers to the questions and question and the talk about Resident Evil. Even though me and Barney,
sweet dreams, Luigi.
Yeah, me and Barney might have nightmares tonight because we both seem to not like. Yeah, that's it. Just hold yourself, wrap yourself up. You'll be fine. But yeah, I will promise to try. So I'm not promising. I'm promising to try and give you more notice for next week.
That's like really small terms and conditions, isn't it, on the contract?
It is very. But yeah, no. Other than that, thank you very much. For being part of the podcast. I've said it before.
Always a pleasure.
I've said it before. Without you guys, it wouldn't be. So
It'd just be you and your green screen.
It'd be me, my green screen, just talking to myself.
Thinking about playing Resident Evil.
Exactly. But
and today on episode number 7, again, shall I play it? And it's just episode 23. Still haven't played Resident Evil. But
I put the disc in, but I've got no further.
I'm not committing to an episode that I would have started playing yet because it could be episode 100 before I start playing. So I'll leave it at that.
I feel we need to give you some sort of ultimatum that kind of says if you're not playing it by like episode 10, then like I don't know.
Deadline.
That's
what
what
I mean.
When
he will have. He'll be on his chair rocking, just like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode number 9, I reckon. It's just like, Luigi, you right, mate? It's just like nothing. He's just rocking back and forward, just like, are you okay, bud?
It's funny though. On this recording, I swear there's like some sort of figure went behind Luigi while we were talking.
Oh, shut
that
up!
Green screen was rustling.
Shut up! Don't even start, you guys. Right, I'm going to end it there. So so thank you guys for like I said, for being part of this, and also anybody that listens, downloads. Thank you very much, muchly appreciated, and we shall see you next week. So, bye, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
See ya.